If you're enjoying this podcast from us here at Which, then why not become a Which member? Right now, we've got a special offer, especially for podcast listeners, meaning you can choose any of our 3 membership tiers for 50% off the usual price. Starting at just £39.50 for a full year, you can get Which magazine delivered direct to your door. For the same price, you could also choose a digital Which subscription, giving you access to all of our product reviews, the Which app, and the digital edition of Which magazine. What's more, you'll also be able to use the Ask Which service for personalised one-to-one buying advice. Or why not get a full access Which subscription for just £49.50 for a full year? Don't forget, that's 50% off the usual price. To join Which or to find out more, just head to which.co.uk/podcast offer. That's which.co.uk/podcast offer, or click the link in the description for today's podcast for 50% off a Which annual subscription.
Hello, it's James Rowe here for about a minute before you listen to this podcast. Now, this brand new episode is something a bit special. It's part of a 6-part series that's exclusively available to our Which members. But as a treat to you, we're giving everyone access to the first 3 episodes. Now, each episode in the series focuses on one of the products that comes with our brand new Just Buy This recommendation. Products we think you should buy. I'll tell you more about that in today's episode, but if you'd like to hear all the episodes in the series and gain access to all of the other benefits of a Which membership, podcast listeners like you can get a whopping 50% off an annual membership simply by heading to which.co.uk/podcast offer. Then you can get access to all of our product reviews, every issue of the magazine across the year, personalised buying advice, and of course the ability to listen to all of our member-exclusive podcasts. You can do that in our app or at which.co.uk/podcasts. But for now, on with today's show. Is your TV on the blink? Has your fridge freezer suddenly packed in? Just moved house and need to buy something quickly? That's where our Just Buy This recommendations come in. Welcome to this podcast from Which. Hello, it's James Rowe here in the Which studio for this episode of Just Buy This, a podcast featuring our experts and their buying advice. Now, I'm sure you've seen our Best Buy, Great Value and Eco Buy endorsements before, but with over 650 of them on our website, we know that it can sometimes feel overwhelming to search for the product that best suits your needs. That's where the Just Buy This endorsement comes in. Handpicked recommendations that our product testing experts think tick the most important boxes and will work well for most people most of the time. And on today's episode, we're in the garden. Not literally, we're in the Which studio with Chris Brookes from our in-house testing team. Chris.
Hi, nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. It's always great to have you here to sort of find out a bit about how we test things, what we test. But today we are talking about barbecues. Is that right?
Yes, we are. It's the season for barbecues.
It is indeed. If the weather is on the side, as should say that. Let's get straight into the one that you have given a Just Buy This recommendation. Which one is it?
Yes, it's the Kadak Safari Chef 30 LP barbecue.
A few acronyms, a few letters and numbers.
I want to make sure
there.
I got that right. Yeah.
So, tell us about it. Why do we love it? Why did you give it the recommendation?
Right, well, this is what we've named the best portable gas barbecue. So it's not one of these giant ones that you see sort of built into your garden to have for a long period of time. It's more one that you can kind of set up as and when you need it. But having said that, it's a fantastic barbecue that's lightweight and portable, heats evenly, cooks really well, and we just think it has a lot of great features, which is why we recommended it.
And we'll probably get into some of those features as well as we chat for the next few minutes. I should say this is a gas barbecue rather than a charcoal barbecue, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And I guess this is almost like a step up from maybe a disposable charcoal barbecue, but certainly nowhere near kind of these massive ones that you might see in like a huge family garden. It's almost like an in-between. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And it's great for people who have maybe a smaller outdoor space, or somebody who's perhaps not staying in their place for a long period of time, or even just wants to bring their barbecue on the go with them. It's great for all of those different situations.
And a little bit earlier, I mentioned our other endorsements like Best Buy and Great Value. This one has both of those, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a fantastic thing about it, really. Not only is it good enough to be ranked as a Best Buy, it's also affordable enough to be Great Value, which means that it is roughly at the moment around £110 you can get it for, which is much, much less than some of these big gas barbecues that are several hundred, even up to £800-900 that we've currently got listed on the website.
Yeah, just before we started to record, I had a look at some of the prices, and I think one of them was even over £1,000. So when we look at prices that high and we look at something like this, it's a lot more affordable for a lot more people, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
And when we talk about Great Value and Best Buy in this context for barbecues, what are we looking for it to get those particular endorsements? What does it have to achieve to get those endorsements?
Well, in terms of being a Best Buy, a big part of what we do when we're doing the barbecue testing is we have an independent chef who actually has a decade of experience testing barbecues for us.
So it's not just you just sort of like just throwing some burgers on and stuff. We're getting some professionals in as well, right?
Well, we tend to do the less glamorous bits. We do the assembly of the barbecues all ready for him, and the cleaning after it's done.
Oh, so the chef turns up, does all the fun stuff, and then goes home, right?
That's pretty much it. But we do get to enjoy eating the food that he cooks, so it's not all bad.
So talk to us about that testing then. So I guess building it and putting it together, does that, or are we testing that as well? Because somebody bought me a barbecue as a moving in present earlier this year, and let me tell you, it was a faff to put together. It clearly wasn't one of the ones we tested, otherwise it might have been a bit better. So are we testing from then on?
That's right. And some of these big barbecues that you talk about, it took us an hour, 2 hours to assemble, whereas something like this basically comes out of the box ready to go, which is a major plus point. And not only that, our chef ranked it as really, really good for cooking vegetable skewers and burgers in particular. And he commented that it gave the food a smoky flavour and a tasty charred exterior. And that's despite the fact that it's a simple sort of portable gas barbecue.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I've thought in the past, I've only ever used a charcoal one personally. Maybe a lot of people listening have as well. But when you think about a gas barbecue, you may think that you might sort of lose some of that almost like barbecue-iness, you know what I mean? That sort of charcoal-y thing. But clearly that's not necessarily the case. It
doesn't have to be. I mean, there are barbecue purists that will only go for the charcoal models, but gas barbecues are the most popular type. They're the most common type that you'll find in British gardens. And a big part of that is just because they tend to be easier to use. They tend to be more accessible for a lot of different people to be able to get that sort of high quality finish on the food.
And I've often wondered as well, you know, when I am using a barbecue in the garden, you know, sometimes I'm a bit reluctant to do, you know, certain meat or, you know, certain products as well. Just being conscious of making sure it cooks properly and evenly. But this one that we're talking about today, this is ticking all the right boxes.
Yeah. So what we found is that it heats evenly across the barbecue, so you can easily cook all the way in the area that you have available, which admittedly is smaller than most barbecues you find. It's just 28 centimetres. But having said that, that's more than enough for plenty of people who are just having a few people over, or perhaps just a couple. So there's lots of situations where this is great.
And as we say, this is our Just Buy This recommendation. It's not the very top Best Buy performing barbecue. This is something that is going to try and suit as many people as possible. When we talk about using the barbecue then, you know, you talked about how it's got the Best Buy, it's got the Great Value, it's now got the Just Buy This endorsement. But when it comes to actually using any barbecue, what are we looking for? How do we actually use a barbecue properly? I feel like sometimes a lot of us just sort of light it, chuck some meat on and hope for the best. I imagine there's a bit more to it, right?
Yeah, well, with gas barbecues, there's a few steps that we recommend that you take. So first of all, you want to check that you've got sufficient gas for cooking in the first place. That's a common issue, is that people will find their barbecue isn't lighting just because they don't have enough gas in the cylinder ready to go. Once you've checked that you've got enough gas in the cylinder, you can then start the gas flow and ignite the grill. You'll carefully have a look to make sure that the burner is lit, and if it isn't, just turn it off, as well as the cylinder, to allow the gas to disperse before you try that again. Once you've tried it again, everything is set up. You can preheat the grill. This is going to be with all of the burners set to maximum. So you close the lid of the grill to allow it to preheat. And once it's at the right temperature, you can use a brush to remove any debris from the cooking grates. And then you can adjust the burners so that they are ready for cooking whatever you are grilling.
It's not as difficult as it maybe some people make it out to be. I sort of mentioned before, didn't I, that you almost sometimes just sort of throw things on and hope for the best. But from what you said, and I guess from when we were testing it and you were watching the chef do a lot of it, it's not as hard as it could be made out to be, right?
No, and that's right. And we tend to be the ones sort of hooking everything up, getting the gas ready to go, and he's just ready to start grilling. So it's as simple as that. And once you've done it a couple of times, you should get fairly familiar with the process.
And from what we've heard there as well, you know, we put them through their paces, and that's exactly how we know that it passes our test, and that's how we end up recommending it. Before we wrap up with this one, anything else to add that people should be aware of?
There's just one slight point to mention, is that this barbecue doesn't come with its own hose and gas regulator to connect it to a standard gas canister. But you can get one online for around £15, which still works out cheaper than most barbecues, but it does mean a little bit of extra legwork.
Well, thanks very much for that. Now, before you go, we are talking all things garden today. We have some other products that have got the Just Buy This recommendation for your garden. Chris, do you want to give us a little bit of a tease of them?
Yeah, so first of all, we've got a lawnmower that's impressive on almost all types of grass, with a full 5 stars for its overall grass cutting ability, which we don't always see. Secondly, we've got an electric mower that's brilliant at cutting closely up to lawn edges and walls, so you might not need a grass trimmer to finish them off. Next, we have a cordless mower that, unlike some that struggle to cut on the lowest setting, works brilliantly throughout all its settings. And finally, we've got a great value robot mower that scored 4 stars for its overall grass cutting ability and also copes well with uneven ground too.
Very good. Chris, thanks very much for those. I should say, if you're listening and you want to find out what those products are, the exact models, and to read about the more than 50 other products that have got our Just Buy This endorsement, you can just head to which.co.uk/justbuythis. And if you're not already a member, you can get 50% off an annual subscription right now. Just head to which.co.uk/podcast offer to get started. But for now, Chris, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this podcast from Which, the UK's consumer champion. You can find plenty more advice about what we discussed today in the show notes. There you'll also find a link to become a Which member for 50% off the usual price, an offer exclusively available to you, our podcast listeners. Joining Which will not only give you access to all of our product reviews, our app, one-to-one personalised buying advice and every issue of Which magazine across the air, but you'll also be helping us to make life simpler, fairer and safer for everyone. Don't forget to hit subscribe wherever you're listening. That way you'll be notified whenever we release a new episode of Which Money, Which Shorts, or another podcast that we make for you. And if you want to get in touch with us, then follow us on social media. We're at Which UK, or you can drop us an email to podcasts@which.co.uk. See you next time.
Do you want to reduce your energy bills? Or maybe you want to use greener energy? Go solar and get a discount. Right now, Which members can get a 7.5% discount on solar panels and their installation if you use Heatable, a Which trusted trader approved service. You can also include a storage battery and EV charger, handy if you're looking at making the switch to an electric car. To make use of this exclusive offer, simply head to which.co.uk/solar-offer. That's which.co.uk/solar-offer before the 30th of September 2025. And if you're not already a Which member, you can grab a year's membership for 50% off the usual price. To do that, go to which.co.uk/podcast offer to get involved. Start your solar journey today. Go solar and get a discount with Which.